Welcome back, folks. I'm MTG Joe. Today we are going to be playing a brew. It is a Grixis spells, Grixis Arcanist kind of deck. So the inspiration to this was from a 5-0 list from a Pioneer tournament, actually. It was playing the combination of cards Dreadhorde Arcanist and the Royal Scions. So there's a cool interaction you can do here. So Dreadhorde Arcanist, when it attacks, you can cast instant or sorcery with CMC equal to or less than its power for free. So by nature, we can cast Opt, Duress, or Shock for free just off its base power. But with the Royal Scions, we can actually plus give Arcanist plus 2/0 and then cast anything up to 3 CMC from our graveyard. So with the deck itself, you're basically looking here to curve out, play a bunch of spells, and kind of tempo your opponent out, get residual value, make them discard their hand, you refill your hand, and kind of go from there. So this is the first draft. I do want to play a couple games to tweak. In particular, like Bedevil might be better than Murderous Rider because we can flash it back. The adventure costs, you can't actually flash back off the Dreadhorde Arcanist because they're treated as creatures everywhere outside. So the rest of the deck, we have the Arcanist, like I mentioned. Dreadhorde Butcher is a haste threat. It can put counters on itself. When it dies, it'll deal damage. But also, if Oko turns it into an elk, it can still keep the 1/1 counters. Stormfist Crusader. So this was a flex spot that I've changed a couple times, and I think I'll go with Stormfist first. So I tried Rexmati Reveler as one of the options. Robber of Riches was another option. This is basically 2 mana, some sort of card advantage or card filtering. So Stormfist, the menace seems the most relevant, and then it allows us to draw cards. Drown in the Loch is both a counterspell and removal. We are going to be forcing the opponent to discard and kill stuff. Because we're Dimir based, we have the Thought Erasures, Angrath Rampage for Okos or Nisas. And then we got the mix of Murderous Rider, Bonecrusher Giant, early removal as well. For 3 body on the backside with attacks that if they target it, they deal damage. 3 Royal Scions and a Nicol Bolas because we're playing Grixis. We might just go 4 Royal Scions. I want to play Bolas because I'm playing Grixis. So we'll find the excuse to play Bolas. Mana base wise, a bunch of duels, and then a couple Fabled Passage, and then 5 basics. Sideboard wise is really just to kind of shore up some matchups. Aether Gust, green-red, Disdainful versus the bigger like mana decks, Negate versus control-y decks, Grasp versus green decks, Elderspell versus like Jeskai Friends. Then we have Mystical Dispute versus turn 2 Oko, Cry versus the Knights deck, and then Ego versus like the Dance of the Mance, and Oral versus Control. So we'll run this through. I'm going to do unranked first, and then we'll do ranked just to give it a shot, and we'll take it from there. Hey Alpoderos, thanks for tuning in. Glad you can stop by. Traditional play, we'll go Grixis. Where'd you go? I hate how they just like randomly put the lists. So if this is the first time tuning in to the video, I don't normally don a mustache. I usually have a beard. I am participating in Movember campaign. So it is to raise funds for like prostate cancer research, like particular health research for men's health. I would love to have a mountain on turn 1. I still think we keep this. Double Bonecrusher is probably fine. Oh, oops. Well, this hand's actually better, so we'll keep this hand. So I'm going to put back the Watery Grave. We'll put back the Watery Grave. So I'm going to lead off with the Steam Vents. So yeah, like I mentioned, with this campaign, I am raising funds. So I will put a link in the YouTube video description once this goes up in the comment section. If you do have the means to donate, it would be greatly appreciated. It goes to a good cause. Other than that, thank you for tuning in. We will be playing some brews. Their main board in Duress. Oh, that's unfortunate. Okay, let's see what the opponent's up to. So this is a discard themed deck. They have Davriel, and Kaya's Wrath. I'm gonna do the Fenlurker this turn, and then I'll keep drowning the Loch. So this looks like black-white discard. So I think we want to hold off this turn, and then we'll counter the Davriel. Actually, they only have 2 cards in their library. We can't counter this. That was a mistake. Okay, so we can still Bonecrusher it. In that case, we probably ditch the... Oh, they go Burglar Rat. Interesting. So I'm going to just counter this. Instead of discarding it, might as well keep it off the board. So that's pretty good. The Fabled Passage, it will allow us to play this Bonecrusher. In response to the discard trigger, we can kill it. And then we can, on the attack, we can't flashback anything yet, unfortunately. Charming Prince. So they'll scry 2 here. I'm just going to opt to kill it. They're missing white. A Royal Scions would be very good right now. Scions pump this, attack for 3, get rid of the Davriel. Okay, so that's shock. They're playing creatures, so I'm going to hold off now. In response to the discard, I can shock this. I don't want to commit more to the board, it just opens them into the Kaya's Wrath. That's fine. So we can flash this back too and be able to shock them. Okay, so they hit the double white. Again, Scion would have been good. I'm going to hold the land in hand. Actually, it's a discard deck, so probably not. After this, I'll hold it in hand. We're actually short 1 mana for Bolas anyways. Doom Foretold. Okay, so we have Scions. Just draw and discard here. So they actually get no utility. So this just looks like Black-White Prison discard. Don't think this card's as good in this list, to be honest. That feels good for us. Ooh. I would love an Arcanist. Here I'm just going to keep filling our graveyard. And then just pass the turn. Next turn I can get back the Thought Erasure. If they might opt to 1-for-1 this here, which would be good as well. So I think we might want some more card draw main. Yeah, they just 1-for-1 us, which we're getting close to the ultimate on the Royal Scions, which we will refill our hand. Okay, we got Bonecrusher number 2. Here... Let's just play this one out in case they put a blocker. Just going to do this. Don't want to discard. So the Duress is fine. It doesn't target this. So this is a creature at all times other than when it's on the stack when you're playing the Stomp. So opponent's trying to do kind of a similar strategy. They're using like the Fen Lurkers, Burglar Rat to force us to discard. Okay, so they got the Guild Globe. I'm just gonna get aggressive here. So before combat, I'm gonna opt. Okay, Murderous Rider is actually pretty good. Lets us deal with like Davriel or anything. We're threatening lethal. I have the Murderous Rider to kill if they play a creature to block. And then I have 5 cards in hand. Yeah, Doom Foretold's fine. So just sacrifice this. We draw the cards, which would have been awful. And get them that way. Sweet. Sweet, sweet. So black-white. So in this matchup, the egos are good. Noxious Grasp probably not as much. The negates are probably wanted. I think that might be... Cry is actually not terrible in this particular matchup. Ral might be another option. The Drowned and the Lochs are probably not as... they're going to be putting cards in their graveyard, so late game it's pretty good. Stormfist refills our hand. These Bonecrushers probably also aren't that good. Mind you, that kind of won us the game there. Actually, Bonecrusher's a couple abilities. We can get rid of... Because Nicol Bolas is probably going to die in this matchup. Pretty easy. They'll likely bring in like 3 cards. The Rampage is fine. Stormfist does help us get a card advantage. Okay, so cut down one of these. Maybe just cut the Riders. They might bring in Kaya here. We saw Kaya, so... Okay, let's get rid of the Giants. Let's try it like this. We aren't playing a real meta deck, so it's like black-white prison, black-white discard. Seems like more of a kind of a janky brew. I'll keep this hand. Looking for a threat, ideally. I have double Scion, so I can discard one to the first discard step. If they play like a 2-drop, like a Fen Lurker or something like that, I have the shock to kill it. With this Fabled Passage, I'm going to fetch a Swamp. Ooh, yeah. So we can get our... I wish we had the untapped land there. I would have liked to Arcanist into Royal Scions there, and then starting to loot. Okay, opponent's hand's very slow. This probably suggests to me they don't have a Duress. Okay. So I'm just going to get Scion going. So we can drop the shock here. I want to dig for a land at this point. Okay, they Devout Decree. That's fine. Keep it on top. Okay, that's actually good because now we can... so we're going to shock. I think just from a card advantage... Let's just go Arcanist this turn and then hold up Negate. The reason being, so this is the turn Doom Foretold could come down. They just go Rat. Just do that. It's actually pretty good. Blink the Rat, blink that. It's kind of cool. Okay, so we get the Opt as well. In our graveyard right now. So I'm going to play the Shock anyways, so let's just deal some damage to them. We're going to get the Shock. Do this on the Prince. So this is basically the main interaction I wanted to get through. Just going to pass the turn here. Hey Quantum, how's it going? So I don't want to go down to one card in hand because they're a discard deck. Okay, so Doom Foretold. Get it down, which is a little annoying. So I will... Naturally, in Grixis colors, you don't have a way to deal with these enchantments. I actually think this turn we just do the Scion. So let's Thought Erasure them. Got some gas. Yeah, one Bolus. We're not. It's more of a Royal Scions deck than a Bolus deck. This nets them. Pretty dead regardless. I think this match. So we'll opt. Just put that on top. Gives us more kind of action in the graveyard. So they'll sack the Rat. Was trying to dig for like a Shock or something there. My guess is they Fenlurker this turn. Then Charming Prince Fenlurker. One turn off. Let's see if we can get a Shock. We don't. So we're going to exile the Mountain, or the Steam Vents. That's an interesting interaction, though. Comes back, eats our Ral. Okay, so they got us on this one. They kind of locked us out. So having seen that, I do think we want the Bonecrushers back in. These Stormfists seem kind of bad. And I mean, because you can deal green or white, but you're not going to deal with the enchantment. I still think Doom Foretold's fine. To do... Ral's probably kind of bad in this matchup, to be honest. It's just too high on curve. We want to cast our stuff early. The Dreadhordes are fine. They can deal damage on the backside. Do I want anything else? Carnarium. Doesn't really hit us. So maybe we go a Cry. And just shave down the a Murderous Rider. Do it like that. Being on the play is probably better. If we can set up like a threat and then hold up counters. Can't play this hand. We can play this hand. I'm probably going to put the Rampage back. Maybe the Opt. Let's put the Opt back. Because we are going to scry on 1 and then Arcanist on 2. That would be likely the approach. I actually think we might want to cut the Bolus and just play the 4 Scions. Its interaction is good enough, and like the card filtering is good enough. It's just funny, like you play against decks where it's like, okay, so Grixis, what's the one thing you can't deal with? An enchantment. What's the first thing we do? An enchantment that forces us to sack our permanents. Okay, so they're likely going to get the Scions out of our hand. So here, we'll just set up Arcanist. It gets more utility for us to play it. With the Fenlurker, it's unfortunate it's an exile and not a discard. Ooh, Dreadhorde. So that's actually a good follow-up play. So I'm going to hold the 2 cards in hand in case they have like another forced discard. I want this Butcher to come down and start attacking. On the end step, I can Bonecrusher the Fenlurker. The Burglar Rat. Because it gives him a blocker anyways. So yeah. It's a little unfortunate. If they had played those in the opposite order, it would have been a lot better, because then we would have, instead of the exile, we would have been able to cast this potentially in future turns. Gonna get a Swamp. No sense taking the damage here. Not exactly what we want to see. Like, this does expose us to Akaya's Wrath. And of course we draw the other Swamp instead of getting the island. Okay, we dodged the Doom Foretold this turn, which is also good. But they've set themselves up nice for a Doom Foretold lock. Oh, that's perfect. 2 cards. Actually, it's not that great. They only have 2 cards. They may block. We'll see what they do here. Doom Foretold's usually pretty good against like the slower kind of Super Frenzy decks. So here we're going to be forced to discard it anyways, so I don't want to give him the Charming Prince. I've been running into just a lot of aggro. Whether it be Gruul or just mono red. I was playing a bit of the Jeskai Fires Cavaliers deck. That was pretty fun. So we're not doing terrible, but like we're pretty open to Doom Foretold. This might be a Wrath. They got the Doom Foretold. Well, they found their opening, so we probably lost the game now. Dreadhorde Butcher at least gets in an attack, deals some damage. Yeah, that doesn't do anything. Yeah, so I went to, because I was in Mythic, I went down to Platinum. So I'm at Platinum 3 right now. It's fine, not much we can do here. It's not the worst. We can pull away what's in their hand. They have the egg to crack for 3 life. I think we need more action. We do have the Carnarium in the board. This also having Vigilance doesn't let us sneak in any. Keep it on top. Doesn't bode well for us. That's 5 damage, so we need to hit the Cry. You are too slow. I think we are dead, folks. So maybe Chemister's Insight, to be honest, in this deck. If we dump it, it's not the end of the world. And we can always get it back. Is it the 4-color fires, the Grixis splash white for Teferi? If it is, it has a very difficult time against any sort of aggressive deck. You take so much damage from your lands. Okay, they got us. They got us Xaxes! Yeah, I was trying to play it because I really like the fires decks. It's this one here I think you're talking about, right? It's basically Bolas Super Friends with Teferi. It doesn't have enough early interaction. The fact you don't have the ritual doesn't do as well as what's it called? Where are you? Cavaliers. I like this one the most. Deafening Clarion does a lot better job. With this fires list, you basically just kind of get stall the board, kill it, and then drop Cavaliers. They get haste. This refills your hand, and then you just go wild from there, and then you fill your graveyard for this Cavalier. So it's like I've had turns where you just randomly 20 your opponent. So it's more of a combo deck, I find. So with this Grixis list, let's make a couple changes. These Stormfists seem kind of lackluster. And we'll cut the Bolas. And then we'll go, I think, 2 Chemisters. Let's jumpstart that we have. So we can make copies. We can do Risk Factor, which actually wouldn't be the worst. This just taps, deals damage. That's removal, which I think we're fine with our removal suite. Like the Drown in the Lochs. So I think we do it like this. We can put a Beacon Bolt sideboard, but I think we're okay. We don't want to clone. We don't really want to draw. Maximize velocity for haste doesn't do much. This is kind of expensive. So let's try it out like this. with the 2 Chemisters and the 1 risk factor. That was a little bit of a weird matchup to be paired against. Alright, actually, give me a sec. Let me just reset Arena really quick. Usually on the longer games, it kind of glitches up. Of course, my daily for the day is play green or white spells, and I'm playing literally the other 3 colors. Okay, let's fire this bad boy up. I can do a game of the Fires Cavaliers after this match here, just so you get to see. If it's something interesting, then I could do a full video, but that's... I've been playing that, and I just put together Temur Oko. Trying that out as well. I think we keep this. I would have really liked an untap blue source, but I don't think we're at the risk factor stage yet. I think we need lands. So if we need to be the aggressor here, I can Butcher. If we need to be defensive, then I can... Actually, I can't even really drown in the Loch. It's probably Butcher's the plane anyways. This card's terrible to have in your opener. That's actually very annoying. Do we just opt and play a tap line this turn? I think we just do that. So let's just go like this. One of the few things is like this and Knight of Eben Legion with the 2 toughness on 1. I have seen a bit more. Yeah, it's just... I might just go tempo-wise. I think we cut that. Okay, so they have the Oko. I'm going to keep the second Butcher on top. So here... This will put a counter on it. So I'm going to get another blue source here. Yeah, so these these Sultai lists now, they're more... It's not just like Simic food with Sultai. They're usually just the Wolves, the Goose, and the Hydroid Grixis. Then they're playing bigger. So they'll play like Vraska, they'll play Garruk. That's really aggressive. So they got the 1 card in their graveyard right now. So... think because they only have the 1 card, they can still Oko. So we'll just set it up like this. No attacks. It's just gonna get blocked by the Goose anyways. This could be a Grixis, it can be a Fight Wolf. Yeah. Okay, so they got us on this one here. We're better post-board in this matchup, so Noxious Grasps are coming in, Mystical Disputes. I actually don't mind the Ral in this matchup for more grindy. Murderous Rider's fine. So Drown in the Loch we're going to take out. Thought Erasure's fine. I might cut the Arcanists in this matchup. because Fight Wolf just kills it. Yeah, let's do that. Let's cut the Arcanists. And do I want Stroke? Probably want Stroke. Make a cut. So we're just going to play more control in this matchup. Can cut the risk factor. And go down an opt. Might go down 2 ops. So what is shock? Actually, shock's probably not the best. Keep the opt instead, because we have Bonecrusher that can shock early. Most of their stuff's 3 toughness. We can get rid of Oko. Yeah, let's try that out. They didn't see any Planeswalkers, so they might just think we're like an aggressive build. They'll bring in probably Aether Gust. Okay, we'll keep this. As long as we can dodge turn 1 Goose, we should be okay. I also want to dig to like a Thought Erasure. If this Butcher can get a clean attack in, then we'll be pretty good spot. No more lands. So this is like the deck I think I want to try to put together in Pioneer. So I saw the list, that's where I got the inspiration from, but like Thoughtseize will be a lot better than Duress on one. Like there's better quality of cards for a spells based deck. You play like Arcanist, Baby Jace, and then there's a couple of the... Okay, so they're playing Grazers in this deck as well. It's kind of annoying. They just randomly have these 1-drops that blank our creatures. Okay, so Thought Erasure is good. So they have their own Thought Erasure. They have the Wolf. And they have Druid. I think we just take Thought Erasure. I'll keep another Grasp. Because this will... No, just because we want to curve out. We're gonna lose the Scry. So I want them to play, like, it's basically trading for the Wolf here if they want to attack, which I'm fine with. And they may just be inclined to... Yeah, they play with the Druid. So they're trying to find an Oko first. Let's get aggressive here. You want to block? So this way, if they want to fight with the Wolf with the trigger on the stack, we can kill it. If they drop like Nisa, we can also target the Nisa. We'll have 3 spells if need be, if Nisa animates, so then Ral on the down tick. Okay, so here they could spend their whole turn adapting incubation. So they can block adapt, which they don't. That makes Fight Wolf come down. We can't kill this. So I think we just pass the turn. So the reason for this, the wolf could come down. Okay, they goose here. So this makes the fight worse. So what I can do is I could respond to the trigger. Yeah. That was annoying. So what they're going to do is they're going to go into full control. Actually, that's pretty good for us. They're going to fight. With the trigger on the stack, I'm going to Noxious Grasp. And then for the next turn, I can just Ral, uptick Ral, drop the Duress. Oh, they didn't do that. That's interesting. That's actually better for us. We just cleared their board. That seemed like the wrong play. Let's put Bonecrusher in our hand. This is better. I thought it was a loot. I forgot it was 1-1. Well, they found their opening. That's very annoying. Okay, so we can go like this. This opponent's been running hot. I'll put this in our hand. I can't really feint the block there. So I'm just going to play this out. It's a blocker. Hey Lullaby, how's it going? Yeah, well, no, it's going to be Nisa, because then they're going to get the 2 attackers in. Or Aether Gust. So opponents managed to go Goose to make a token for the wolf into... That's actually very good for us. So let's start with Duress. See what they got going on. It's just a land. We'll take the Scion. And then Scion gives first strike and trample. So here I'm just going to attack with the 1. I want to hold back my Planeswalkers because these are probably what are going to win us this game. This is up to 3-3 now. That's fine, actually. Okay. This is also threatening ultimate. So let's actually just do this. Let's do this now, in case we get another like haster. Okay, it's just shock. If they have a creature, we can hit that. But I think we snuck this up against one of the bad boys in the format, Sultai. Nice. Yeah, it's a little tough, but okay, I think we need the Elderspell. Actually, I don't think. We got enough removal. So they had the Wolf. They have Druid, so this makes Shock a little bit more relevant. I'm going to cut the Ops and play the Negates. And Cry's not that good. Like, do we Ego just to name Oko? That feels bad. Maybe just a Gust. Most of their deck space green. Run it like that. So opponent might bring like Vraska back. Well, they probably kept Vraska in, is my guess. Like everything we showed in game 1 was our curve was low. Give me 2 lands, a Shock, and a Negate. I can make the rest happen. Come on, Arena. Why is this hand so awkward? I still think we keep. We have a draw. If we can draw an untapped red source, would be ideal. Worst case, okay, so we're dodging at least turn 2 Oko. Want to find a black source here. Thought Erasure would be good next turn. Yeah, pretty close to what we asked for. Aether Gust is not a exact analog, but may suffice. That's fine. Have your pick. What do you want? The best there would have if they dropped like an Incubation Druid. Just shock it, and then the Scions is probably a guess. They may take the Thought Erasure if they're worried about us drawing into black source and they want to drop an Oko next turn. Yeah, my guess it's either Thought Erasure or the Scions. Post board, I imagine they have ways to deal with the Dreadhorde Butcher. They've seen it 2 games in a row now, and it's pretty much what bet them last game. This card's very good. Like, in the shell where all its abilities are relevant, it feels strong. Okay, so they're worried about their turn 3 play. Ooh, and they've been to Garrick. Sweet. Sweet, sweet, sweet. So they guessed right. Yeah, like when it's on a board by itself, it can't necessarily win the game. Okay, so on upkeep, I'm going to like a post draw. I'm going to Aether Gust. Put it back on top. The question is, do we shock to hold up like a shock as well, which is probably right. So this buys us kind of puts it back. Yeah, I haven't played too much with Scions actually either. I just put together the Teamer Oko list that plays Scions. So it's playing like Domri, Scions, and what's its face? That's fine. So this actually gives us a target for Goose. Or actually, we're going after the Druid. Druid has more utility. Okay, so we have Scions here. So here I just want to pump through as much damage as possible. No more lands, please. So like Oko comes down, animates one of these. This is still 6 power. Ooh, Bonecrusher's good. Okay, so let's do this. We can actually kill Oko this turn. My guess is they throw it. Yeah, that's actually fine. And then let's just do this. So end step, we can either Bonecrusher the Gilded Goose. Sweet. Took him down. That was impressive. Okay, so this configuration of the deck works a little bit better. It's less clunky. Sweet, 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 sweet. So this is the list. I'll update Aether Hub after the game. Okay, so we are gonna... I was very impressed with Butcher. Drown in the Loch felt terrible. So let's go up to a 4th Butcher. These 2 cards... Oh, no, wrong Rakdos card. These 2 cards with the Scions felt really strong. I still think 3 Scions is good. Okay, so I'll update the list there. Quantum had asked, so I'll play a game with the Cavalier's Fire. So basically, I primarily play this in best of 1 to take advantage of the Fabled. So similar to the Win Everything event that I was playing with the more Planeswalker heavy version. So basically what you're trying to do is stall the game early. And then with fires out, you play out your Cavaliers, give them haste. Kenrith also gives haste. And then you just kind of destroy your opponent. We are playing full 4 of Fabled Passage in this deck because Cavalier gets the benefit of cards lands in the graveyard as residual damage. Our sweepers consist of 4 Clarions, 1 Time Wipe. And then sideboard wise, so because it's best of 1, we do have a Wishboard. So they're all situationally good cards. Elderspell versus kind of the mirror matches or the Super Friends heavy. Ego versus like Dance of the Man's decks. Johnny versus the more aggro decks. I found that this particular build, if you can get to your 5 drops, you usually win. But in the early game, you do have some issues against the hyper-aggressive red decks or even the Embercleave Knight decks. Another Time Wipe, a Bolus to kind of grind out value, Planar Cleansing as a reset. We can cast this without fires, which is good. Liliana and Chandra are both Planeswalkers that can win the game on their own. 2 casualties are great in the mirror or against like Oko heavy decks. An Ugin can target pretty much any permanent. Planewide Celebration. So if we have Bolus out and then we can get Planewide the following turn, we can combo win. Same with Liliana. But it's also a way for us to gain life and kind of buy back stuff from our graveyard. Powers lets us shuffle our library in. And then Mass Manipulation to steal stuff. So I will run a ranked match with this because I am comfortable with the deck and have played more than enough games with it thus far. I think the next deck I'll build for the channel, someone mentioned, so I put up the post on the community page on YouTube, so like kind of cool brews. So someone was looking to see a kind of Simic tribal, Simic Hydra tribal. Missed the word there. So we'll keep this hand. So it would be like all the Hydras. So you have Voracious, the Artifact X spell one, which is actually very good against Oko, Hydroid Crisis, obviously, and then what's her name? Kiora, kind of untap mana, Gargos as a fight spell. Okay, so we really just want to see a land here. If we can hit one more land, our curve of crush this, fires, crush, play this, fires. Yeah, I would. It's just that the sideboard would then change. We would be... We're just going to kill this now. We would be playing a slightly different configuration. I would be putting... So this deck has a very hard time against Simic Flash. It's annoying. What you don't want to see is your 3 fires in your opener. Yeah, so it has a tough time against Simic Flash. So I would put in 2 Dovin's Veto, 2 Mystical Dispute, and then cut down on some of like the more situationally good cards. So I'd probably cut the Ajani. That's very annoying. The 3-lander just need to draw a land. I'll fire up another one. I'm just keeping this hand because we drew the time wipe. So if we just do running lands, we can recover. But here they could just tap our creature down and attack for 6. That's free spell for them. So this is the go wide strategy. Clarion also wouldn't be too bad. It's a little overkill. So they tap. They hit us for 7. We go down to 1. Well. Let's see what we do. Yeah, that could be a good option, especially because it gets down before, like Knight gets down in the Grixis version before. I've also liked Theater of Horrors in like the Mardu variant that I put together. Give me a land. Please give me a land. We destroy this board state with a land out. Show me a land. Come on, go Loxodon here. I do like in the Grixis version, because you can... Oh, if we get a land, we blow them out. Oh, give me a land. One time. Yes. I don't want this Cavalier. Hello. Good luck. Thank you for coming out. Here's my Cavalier. Let's just do this and this. We are going to put the land on top because I want to try to get rid of that. Oh, our opponent should have been way more conservative. Like, you had the win. You didn't need to put down the Loxodon. You just heavily overextended. That's fine. That shuffles in. Yes, please. Yeah, if I could draw the red Cavalier, then it's going to get kind of nutty. So here, let's just clear the board. Edgewall is a very good card because it's on cast. So I'm going to do this before because I want to shuffle this land back. We're going to put this and to fairy back. Just put it like that. And then just pass the turn. I can Castle Vantress. And then kind of shuffle both of those away. Probably just bounce the Shepherd of... Teferi's probably fine, to be honest. So let's go Drawn from Dreams. This is a terrible Drawn from Dreams. Let's just set up a Scry. We are not getting what we want. Okay. So if I draw Red Cavalier, we win. And if I draw... that's actually pretty good. But we have a Clarion. Yeah, that does make sense. Let's set up a Scry. Against this deck, I actually don't mind the second Clarion. Do we just want like double Cavalier this turn? Yeah, that's probably fine. Here's 15 power in the air. Have fun. Let's put back Teferi and this Fabled Passage. Shuffle away the Teferi. Just go from there. Put you on top. So they can't kill us this turn. Unless there's some weird combo that I'm not thinking of. And if they could kill us from this spot next turn, then all the power to them. But yeah, got him. So they overcommitted, and it ended up biting them on the butt. But yeah, that's pretty much the deck. I like it because it can turn the corner a lot faster. Especially, like, we didn't get out any of the haste elements. Which, I kind of like Fire's decks, if you can't tell. I actually got rid of some other ones. Yeah, so you have a lot of ways to win out of nowhere between Kenrith and... oops, wrong button. Between Kenrith and Cavalier of Flame. I think I'm missing some myth. I just spent all my mythics, but I'm probably gonna get another Kenrith and then cut down one Cavalier Gales. The haste and just the mana sink in Kenrith is very good. It helps offset with the lifelink. Is this list on it? No. I'll post it right after this Quantum when I'm uploading the Grixis video, because I'm gonna set up the revised Grixis list. This version was a lot more fun to play. Anyways, I'm gonna wrap this up. Got to do the chores around the house. Thanks everyone for tuning in. If you missed any part, you can catch it on Aether Hub, as well as if you have any recommendations for any kind of more fringy decks out of meta. Like I mentioned, I'm going to brew together a Simic Hydra deck. But if there's anything you'd like to see, drop a comment on any of my video descriptions or the community page on my YouTube. There's a post there. You can catch it there. And just as a quick note, like I mentioned off the top of the video, I am taking part in the Movember campaign. So for those of you who are normal viewers of the stream, I don't normally have a mustache. I usually have a full beard. I am doing this to raise funds for charity. So I'll post a donation link on my YouTube page and on each of the videos that I upload. If you do have the means and can make any sort of small monetary donation, that would be awesome and greatly appreciated. Goes to a good cause. cancer research, other types of research for men's health. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Have a great weekend. I'm going to try to come back tomorrow for the Festival Artisan. I'm going to post some brews over the next couple days on Aether Hub as well, so you can check out those deck lists. I already posted a Dimir Mill list, but I'll try to put a couple varied decks. I'm excited just to get the Brazen Borer decals, and we can go from there. Anyways, as always, thanks for tuning in. Have a great one.